Welcome to Gem Collectors with Shawn. I am that Shawn, and I think we are into our anniversary month of creating this show 7 years ago, and that's pretty exciting. 330 plus shows later, I tell you what, I am still pulling out goodies from my personal collection. And so I had talked about that before, and I notice now, because it was only, I don't know, a couple of months ago, we had 10,000 subscribers, a big mark. We have 10,300 subscribers. And I am never, until I was told we had 10,000 subscribers, that and Miss Barbara said, the saying is like and subscribe. I had never once that I can recall ever said to do that. I don't know. I'm just here for the fun, to give you a great deal, to teach you what you need to know. And remember, we are part of the Gem Shopping Network as well. So for me, I record down in a studio portion of the downstairs. So I call it upstairs. You can always go upstairs, which is the live shows. 26 years we've been here. 24/7 the network operates. If you, in the 3 o'clock in the morning, get a whim, you want to go back and look at a bunch of other shows of mine, they are archived. You can watch them, and you can write down the item numbers you want. I have a note, Miss Penny wrote us, that she had 13 items on her list that she wanted. And so she only got a few of them. But I want to make it clear that make sure you hear the words that or ask your wonderful, knowledgeable sales representatives, ask them if the computer says if it was sold, then you know it's actually gone, because there's a difference, because they hold the items I show that you're seeing right now today, so they'll be held for 3 to 4 weeks to give anyone an opportunity to buy them in that time period. Then if they're not sold, they are returned to me. At that point, they are taken out of the computer system, of course. But it doesn't mean that they're not available to be bought. All those item numbers stay the same for years. I do mean for years. So if what you need to do is then, if the sales rep did not say that they were specifically sold, take that item number, put it in the comments, or customer service, call customer service. They will get in touch with me, and I can directly check my, I have an office right here, full of everything that you see, and a lot of other stuff. Plus, of course, the complete shop that I haven't mentioned in a while, which I'm so proud of the direction and guidance and the producer of how it's done. And it is a 30-episode series, and you can access it by going to the same place on the Gem Shopping Network, or through the YouTube connection to Gem Collectors with Shawn. It'll link to another set of shows, and it covers every imaginable project that you would ever run up against in working with your family hometown goldsmith, on from the simplest of sizing a ring to the most complicated thing as hand crafting, after alloying rose gold in a pendant with a rotating stone. That's what we did. That's what we showed. We showed a completely FTC, Federal Trade Commission, guidelined piece, so that it could be legally sold as handmade. And that's handmade in the United States. And we did it from literally alloying the pure gold with the rose gold alloy and rolling it out in the rolling mill. It was a great project. Then the other way you make jewelry is through the lost wax method of casting. And I just told the guys right before we came on that I was going to show today a wolf spider. So it was a dead wolf spider that I had found. And so I'll describe it later when I show it to you. But I took the wolf spider and anything organic, in other words, carbon-based, we'll talk about carbon-based in a while, can be burnt out in an oven. In other words, lost wax, same thing, except instead of it being a wax, it's the actual insect, carbon-based like wax is, or like the little Georgia pine cones that were so popular so long ago, anything organic, and that oven temperature can get high enough, completely burn it off without any residue, and then we sling that molten gold right into the cavity where it was. Great process. You can watch it all. We did it. We show you flush setting, mill graining, rebuilding antique rings, platinum sizing, gold. It was a great absolutely. We can permanently gold, which you technically can, sand casting. Okay, so what we do when ossif croak. I am not going there, buddy. Oh, no. Yeah, we all come from the ground and we go back to the ground. But yeah, technically, yeah, we can just create a mold. But anyway, watch those episodes. You'll learn so much. Okay, today we have some really neat and stuff that you will not see anywhere else, because you know where we're going? You know where we're going? We are going to a place that seldom others go. Matt, though, has gone there. I'm bringing in some other things, and, everyone needs to learn and hear what I have to teach and show you today. So let's get to the comments so we can get to the inventory, which includes another trip of looking at and offering that axonite. Now, I do want to be clear about the axonite, and you'll hear it in the comments that Brad, and he's the one I referenced that I remembered requesting one. Now, this was one that I brought in on a dop stick. That's the little metal rod that holds the stone that you put in a fastening machine. So I was cutting from rough, another axonite. I'd already cut and sold one here. Amazing color change. And I guess I decided to cut and sell the second one, even though I left the option open to personally keep it for a while. I sold the other, but anyway, so I brought it in and showed everyone. I have not been able to find it since, seriously. It doesn't mean it's lost. It just means I haven't found it, and I have lots of places for things to have been. So I am going to, because I'm really now interested in axonite after doing another read-up about it. You're going to learn a lot about axonite. So I am going to give Brad the first option on that axonite, but I will find that second one. And when I cut that second one, the option on the second one is, it looks like in the order of the way things went, Matt had called in early on and interested in it. Now, I do have the garnet parcel. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Let's get to the comments and then the show. So, the two trivia questions were this. Name two elements that help stop fluorescence in a gem or mineral. And the other word they use most often that you see is quench, to help quench. In other words, this gem would normally be fluorescent, but it has some impurities of iron in it, or vanadium, and by the mystery and magic of chemistry, it causes the gem to no longer fluoresce. So that is the answer, iron and vanadium. What does the often used abbreviation of REE stand for? Yeah, so you'll see that in chemical compositions, or not just in that. So we're not really just going to chemistry. Often, if you're reading about a mineral, it will say, this mineral has been known to contain REEs or things. It'll often reference it like that. You'll see it. You need to know what it means, and it means rare earth elements. It is the rare earth elements that is where you get much of your radioactivity, even in minor amounts, from small percentages or some elements are closely related to others and will interchange and fill into that particular molecular lattice and be just enough to not only alter colors, but give something a radioactivity that it normally wouldn't. And so a lot of people don't realize that Cambodian zircons are now completely safe. So let me make sure to be clear with that, completely safe, but do have often have a pretty strong signature. And it is often because of the rare earth elements, not just the zirconium, okay? That's normally fine. But it is known to have rare earth elements that will substitute into its chemical structure or fit into its chemical structure rather easily. So it happens with a lot of different minerals that you don't even realize that you might have that will have a radioactive signature, and the only way you can tell is to have one of the coolest things that I have, and of course that is, and it was nice back when I had money. I'm glad I bought it then, because right now it would probably make a nice grill, which is kind of what I need instead of one of these. Bright color, exactly. If you can't laugh at yourself, then who can you laugh at? And I don't smile as often because of this situation, but
you laugh at others if you can't laugh at yourself.
That's exactly what Raven does. I mean, if I hurt myself or trip or fall, she goes, I laughed at my grandmother when she fell in D.C. I said, oh, of course it makes me think of, oh, you're going to tell me you're, shot your puppy next or something, But she does. I said, I can't believe you did it. She just has this weird quirk. So she fell the other day, and I ran down the steps all worried and everything, and pampered her. And I could never see myself laughing at that moment of when she's in pain. But shoe on the other foot, laugh first, medical assistance second. Yeah. I mean, they do say laughter is the best medicine. So there you go. Maybe she's right and we're wrong. All right, let's get to the comments. Here we have it. All right. So Mr. Brad did not waste any time. And here was the thing on the axonite. If I did not hear from Brad at all, then the axonite was going to go on to the next person. But the first one I get is greetings to Shawn, the gem shopping crew, and the whole Rock family. Hope all is well. I'm on travel, but checked in and saw the axonite. I would be interested. I will have to catch the entirety of the show later. Thanks. Be safe in this heat. So it may not be something he wants, especially if he is going to compare it to the pear shape that I custom cut. I even brought it in stages and showed it, and then I sold it way too inexpensively. I saw a couple of vendors that sell that sell axonite, that kind of quality, and it was like when I gave us all how little I offered it for. But that's how I roll, So Miss Jan jumps in and says, hi, Shawn, good to see your show. I should have remembered to ask about the jade light switch cover. You had the wrong item number. I called, they said they put my name on it, and then I forgot. Tried again, same problem. Anyway, when I finally remembered to ask about it, somebody snagged it. I wanted it to complete my collection. I had that jade light cover for 3-4 years at least. I couldn't say that there's not another one laying around somewhere. And if it is, I will remember to set it aside for you. But at least you do admit that you should have checked back in or followed up a little bit more directly on that if you wanted to. And it could have been made yours, because around here, sometimes it just takes persistence. And customer service is good. I mean, they will harass me to get an item number fixed or corrected or whatever it is. So I'll keep an eye out for you. Let's see. She goes on to say, okay, the real thing is here. You asked us to ask you what we're looking for and want. Here I am. I never did find a malachite. That's what I want. The one with the sparkly crystals. I forgot what it was officially called, but hopefully you remember. Hugs, hugs, and oh, here's another. Take care, Jan and Blondie. Oh, I feel all those hugs and hugs back at you there, Miss Jan. It is called fibrous malachite is where you normally find it. And I know what you're talking about. You're talking about some of those, and not just fibrous malachite, but the malachite which has some individual crystals that stand out and are literally gem clear. It looks like it's this quite amazing. Now, I think since the time you asked one, and then I showed one, and it was, I think it was an expensive one, so maybe another price point would work better. I'll have to see what I have left in any of those at home. I know I do have some fibrous malachite left, but I have to see if... Now, most of those, though, only a portion of it will be in that kind of quality range. You can't find one that's all gemmy around like that except that one piece. And come to find out, I think I made an error, and that was one I had given to, or was Raven's personally. So... that would be something I could not replace. It was a special piece. Oops, if that's the case. So I will keep an eye out, Miss Jan, and see what I have. Miss Jan then goes on to say in another, lol, Shawn, here, what I meant to ask for from what I meant to ask for from the show was the axonite. I want one, please. I'm guessing you'll put my name on a tag and put it in the box. Joke. But please, I don't recall if there was a price, but it is so beautiful. Also, real quick, I went online looking for Turkish diaspora. Thank you for not calling it what other marketers call it. It said it was authentic and certified. I got it, and guess what? Thanks to you, I knew what to look for, and within minutes, I was able to tell that I got scammed. The funny part, you'll love this. The card said GGI, not IGA. So I looked it up. They are the world class glass workers. Huh. I laughed and then gave a review. The seller was like crying, why the 1 star? This is my life for mi familia. I gotta talk Italian. For mi familia. So I patted my back and thought of you. Thanks for expanding my knowledge, even if there's not much room with everything else in my head medically. But I just wanted to share that with you. Lastly, the axonite. Yes, I'd like one, please. Love always, Jan and Blondie. Back at you there, Miss Jan. And hope your medical situation turns out well. I know you've had a tough time in the last few years. So let's hope that goes well for you. Yes, okay, so remember, the names that they call it. I'm just going to say them just so you never use them. It is, color change diaspora. You don't have to use Turkish in there because it comes from nowhere else. It's almost redundant for those in the gem and mineral business. It would be like, saying Turkish. If you say diaspora, yeah, because it comes from one locality in the Mughal province and nowhere else in the world. But the owners of the mine, and they have fought back and forth for rights to it. It's in our industry. It's a kind of a all along ongoing running process. That's why you've seen it as zoltanite and Zarite, which I can't stand marketable names. What's easiest to understand is color change diaspora, end of story. Or diaspora, because not all diaspora changes color. I used to have these 10 and 20 karat, 25 karat yellow diasporas. I sold them here like 10 years, 20, 15 years ago. And they were reasonably priced. Did they have a color change? No, it's just diaspora. So color change diaspora is something particular. Now, the best goes from a kiwi green to a champagne strawberry. That's the best way I could ever think of describing the color change, and it's very accurate, actually, if you know the kiwi green color. So that's the really good stuff. Now, they do make a glass that has a color change, very, very similar. And so you have to watch for that. There is a lot of materials that they can replicate color change in different wavelengths of light. Color change synthetic spinel. Oh, is that ever popular, especially in the Middle East, where they try to sell it as alexandrite everywhere you go in the markets and bazaars. And of course, it's not. I mean, it'd be a stone worth, $250,000, and they'll take $50 for it, and you could really get them down to $5 because it really costs $1. I mean, I can get them all you want. Synthetic spinel's been around a long, long time. So I'm glad I could help you out if it truly was, if he was really scamming you, and if the appraisal or if the certificate of authenticity was something different than what it was supposed to be, because IGI is a recognized one, then yeah, call him out on it. Glad you did. We have Miss Gabby. Hello, everyone. Back in Florida, but heading to Tucson Friday. Lucky you. Going to visit our exhibit and fix a scratch on the table. The table. I met Lori last year at Betty's. We had a nice little visit. Yes, Miss Gabby. I totally remember all that. After I mentioned that, it's like, yeah, that's right. Of course you did. So you were outgoing enough, and she was, and so I'm so glad you did, because it just completes the family if you got to meet the mother of my son, and since you're often go to Helen as well, and so you went to so I'll finish what you wrote, and then I'll complete my thought there. All right, great show. Loved all the rings, especially the spinel. I have examples of these stones in my collection, but I'm strongly considering these to do some cost averaging. Yes, definitely cost averaging down. Smart. What you're supposed to do in the stock market. If you can do it in the gem market, you are very wise to do it, especially if you can do it in a form where you can have a ring and enjoy the gem as well. And when you break out the value of what you paid for the gold and the diamonds and what you end up in that incredible spinel, it is really buying a quarter for a nickel kind of thing. And it's one of those things that would be regrettable to miss, because there won't be another one that I would know of. So I have examples. Okay, so wait. She says, okay, so this is, cost averaging, LOL. Then Miss Gabby says, talk about Metzias. Okay, METZIAH''S. All right, hold on. I am interested in the topaz earrings too, if they become available. Oh, those topaz earrings, I handmade those in the year 2000, and something, it was my doctor, and he first didn't think he'd like them, and so he showed them to his wife. 41st anniversary, boy, isn't that something? And so he's cute. Every year he looks up what the gift is for that particular anniversary. And last year, the 40th, was ruby. So I actually got an amazing ruby bracelet. So the 41st is topaz. And just by chance, I had gotten in those imperial topaz earrings. Other than that, you just can't find anything, many choices. That's one of the rarest stones to find in jewelry, the kind that truly have the orange and truly imperial color. So I'm glad to see you recognize the value of those, but she loved them. So those won't be available, but that means just more money that should really be put to that spinel ring if you're trying to make a decision about that, Miss Gabby. I could, you know me, I wouldn't recommend it if I didn't, especially since the way I was able to break it down and show you and determine origin and the fact that it had no iron in it, which is a plus in the spinel world. So anyway, back to the Metzias. I had no idea what that was. So I had to look it up. What's a Mexican? So apparently it's like one of these discount shopping places. So I had to show it to Raven this morning. She goes, oh, I'm going to go there. That looks like some great deals. So I think it was just a place to find some really discounted opportunity. So I got the point. I am going to have to get my Axonite out and test for color change. What a cool discovery to make on air. That is the Axonite, not a garnet. I also have a faceted bastnasite that has a color shift from a golden yellow to golden orange. Wonder if your crystals do also. Trivia, iron and vanadium and rare earth elements. I'll check back in a couple weeks. Love to all. Miss Gabby. Don't miss out on Spadell ring. And yes, look at your Axonites, because it is a kind of like Alexandrite. It is a sunshine change that, it's playchroic. So depending on which way you look at it and direction you look at it, and then you can also, with wavelength of light, have an effect on it as well. The bastnasite crystals, yes, I did notice that there is a color shift in the ones in that parcel, and it was a yellow to orange type of change to there. So very cool. And so check yours out. Mr. Anthony, you sent, it looked like a link, and the link wasn't able to be opened. So send me it again, maybe in a different form. I'm not real clever, but I can tell you this. I saw it was like a Facebook thing. I don't think it would matter, because I can open Facebook links. I don't have a Facebook, and won't. I don't do social media or anything like that. I am your old-time hippie artisan, and a lot of that would distract me. I have this incredible venue, and that's my focus, and 10,300 of you is enough, and I appreciate each and every one of you. So like and subscribe. Miss Gabby goes on to say, yes, I knew immediately you were talking about a septarian nodule. I just purchased one at a little rock shop in Helen last week. So Miss Gabby is responding to, I had said, I wonder if anyone knows what I'm talking about when I was describing a pendant that Raven had on, and I was trying to get Raven to figure out what it was. And talking about the calcite, it had some pyrite, and then it had some browner material and calcite with it, and it had a spider web over it, so it looked really cool. But the pyrite is why, Raven really liked it, and it was her mother-in-law in the time, which I think was really cool, because they knew her style jewelry and what she liked. Actually went back into, this is like decades ago, back into the gem show and had bought it for her. But Raven actually never knew what it was. So never to be fooled, and never to tell her directly. I made her work for it. And so she actually finally got it, which was a septarian nodule. So for Miss Gabby to know right away, that is very astute, and that is shows a deep level of knowledge, and impressive. I like that. Raven did really well, really well. I had only had to get to telling her the last word, nodule. But 90% of the people really, even telling them that, they would not get the first part, the septarian, which is a lot harder. So, but well done on that, Miss Gabby. Mr. Matt says, let me see, make sure I get all this right. Yep. Dear Professor and friends, I just purchased the bastnasite and sphene/fluorescent calcite. No surprise there. The kunzite and pink red tourmaline from 2 weeks ago we received and are beautiful. I also asked customer service to let you know. I would really like to purchase the Axonite. What a fascinating gem. I was so enthused that I pulled back muscles reaching for the phone. Ouch. See, I'm not going to laugh at that, Mr. Matt. That's terrible. Now, Raven, she might get a giggle. But then she'd bandage you up and be all, nice about it after she laughed at you. But Yeah, I need more axonite, obviously. We're going to take a look at that stone and talk a little bit more about it in a minute. Trivia, name 2 elements that help stop quench fluorescence in a gem. Iron and vanadium. Right on. What does REE stand for? Rare earth elements. Be well all, Mr. Matt. Well said, Matt. Cindy in Pennsylvania. Hello, Rock family. Thoroughly enjoyed today's show. Yes, I had trivia envy. Congrats to Anthony. Love everything about that Mandarin garnet ring. I think this is from like the week before. Idiochromatic for internal elements. Nice association, Miss Barbara. That is the kind of tip my brain will keep forever. Oh no, this isn't from last week. This is from the week. She was just commenting about how Miss Barbara remembered idiochromatic from allochromatic and how to remember the difference. So very good. Trivia, iron and vanadium, and rare earth element. Our weather has multiple personalities. Freeze warning last Monday when I wrote. Today was 92 degrees. And that is Cindy in South Central Pennsylvania. Have a great week. See you next week. Cindy in South Central Pennsylvania. 92. Ooh. If I was living in Pennsylvania, I'd be hot. It would be 92 already because I would love to move up north and escape some of the Georgia heat. Because after having long COVID for 4 years and all, it's just something I can't deal well with. And Maine. I'd like to go to Maine. Or Vancouver, Washington State, Pacific Coast, somewhere like that where, yeah. Mr. Anthony in Massachusetts says, hello all, another education and fun pack show. From the demo lesson to Miss Gabby's tourmaline crystal. But the Macesso opal you gifted me over the top. Thank you. I really love chocolate opal. That was a trivia gift. How about that? You never know what you get, and it's usually something cool. I can't even imagine what you were feeling when you spotted the axonite. Good catch. It was a good feeling. I'm going to go on and show that parcel without it, and I repriced it. The average cost of that axonite, and as part of that parcel with the number of stones that was in it, was $1.25. But here's the other part to it. I have offered that parcel multiple times. Raven said, you had that parcel a year ago. I know. So until I was interested in, again, always trying to learn myself with all the different garnets I could tell in there, I used it as a lesson for myself on measuring the varying amounts of magnetism against each other. And so when the only stone in there did not have any drag, any pull to that very powerful N52 neodymium magnet, which is the official size and strength that they use for doing these comparative analysis on magnetism. So it was that is what cued me into looking one step further. And as soon as I got those two directions of the crystal and looked through them and saw the difference in the color of the light and the color of the stone, no garnet does that like that. So it was a thrill. It was a thrill because then I wondered how many more of these have I just parceled up, and I should show you the bag that I got them out of. It was a lot. I mean, I just picked them and mixed some different ones that I knew would. So there's some rhodolites, and who knows how long it has been traveling in that batch. Okay, Miss Barbara in Brooklyn. Hi, Professor Shawn, Raven, GSN crew, and the whole Rock family. Attached is an article about my childhood crystal garden using laundry bluing, Shawn, not gun bluing. It whitens your teeth and darkens your denims, not keep rust off the barrel of your Colt Special. After all these years, this is the first time anyone published the chemical formula for that stuff. Cool. Not that it really matters since the crystals are mostly salt evaporation. Now let's see what your crystal formula is. Yeah, I looked up my crystal formula that I'm going to be growing those crystals, and I'm not going to tell you yet what it is, but it is not NaCl, aka table salt. And it's not also, they're not going to be grown from an evaporation process per se. Well, so many are. Maybe a little bit of both. As to the trivia, iron and vanadium quench fluorescent, and Re is rare earth elements. So, yes, about the bluing. So, Miss Barber, I guess I won't go any further than that for putting my foot in my mouth. I mean, how am I going to know there's some kind of laundry bluing that does that? The only kind of bluing I was ever familiar with was the men gave myself away. Gun bluing really protects those Colts. But it seems like, Miss Barber, you know awful lot about that, you know. It's the Venus and Mars thing. But I'm rather impressed that you actually knew some of the difference there. Miss Elisa says, hello, Professor Shawn, the lovely Raven, GSN crew and Rock family. Beautiful rocket pocket specimen, and thank you for sharing the photo, Miss Gabby. Wow. Shawn, you must have heard me yelling at the TV, it's axonite, when you placed the mysterious non-magnetic garnet on the flashlight. Was that the missing axonite Brad had wanted? Wow, Brad. See, you have people looking out after you from a year ago, 2 years ago, a long time ago. After that axonite was, it was requested because she had seen it when it was only partially cut. So when I finished it, I honored it and sold it. As we'll see how this next axonite situation turns out. No, it wasn't the missing axonite, but I am determined to find the missing axonite. The one that is missing is a large triangular shaped one. So we'll see. My answer to the trivia is iron and vanadium, rare earth elements. My favorite item of the week was the geode from Iowa and the orange-pink spinel ring. Good choice. Take care, everyone, and have a great week. Miss Barbara in Brooklyn says, hi, Professor. I just participated in the monthly Mineral Talks live Zoom, which feature Glenn of Lawrence Berkeley National Lab, who also works with George Rossman from Caltech about material science, especially UV. He agreed that iron and sometimes vanadium act as effective quenchers of UV. Corollary to that, iron is sometimes so good at absorbing UV energy that it can become a UV activator itself. How cool is that? That is cool, Miss Barbara. I'm glad to see that you had to go to someone from the Lawrence Berkeley National Lab and Caltech to verify my information. Good grief. Talk about being fact-checked. I don't stand a chance. Penny in Quebec. Hello, Shawn, the lovely Raven, amazing GSN crew and fellow Rockhounds. I hope everyone is well. Thank you for another great show. I am finally caught up on the shows, but I didn't finish this one yet. The Tanzanite pendant was certainly spectacular. Followed closely by the cranberry rubellite tourmaline. I agree. Shawn, thank you for the chevron amethyst. I did get them. I had 13 other items on my wish list, but only 2 were still available. Perhaps just as well, budget-wise. I stopped listening to your show as soon as I saw the amethyst so I could order and send a note. And I knew that you were looking for that, so I made sure that it was going to go to you, because I went back and looked in my notes. I have been quite preoccupied lately. On April 22nd, I underwent total left hip arthroscopy replacement. Wow. I thought you were young. According to my surgeon, I am about 10 years below the national average for the surgery. So, okay, that explains it. I guess someone forgot to tell my hip that. I had to go privately, $22,000. That's a lot of rocks you could have bought. Since, I know, T's back there just went, since the waiting list in the public Medicare system would require another 14 months with the top surgeon, the one I had, and about 9 months for a mediocre one. So that's kind of weird. You don't get the top surgeon. The surgery was successful, and now I'm in the long recovery phase. Cooking with a walker is quite interesting, but fortunately is not a wheelchair. Such is life, and I will persevere through this as well. That's it for now. Off to rest my leg. Wishing everyone a great week and hope to see you soon. Yes, Miss Penny, you get well. Oh my goodness. And of course, we've heard over time about the Canadian medical system and versus ours. I don't know. Yeah, ours is so messed up. So, and I know that isn't a good situation up there for you either. So just get well and get better. And but remember, rocks around you will give you that sense of energy and that natural elemental aura. And there's something truly to be said for that. Okay, so we do have a winner this week. And this week, a very lucky winner. And that would be Mr. Matt in Texas. Let's show Mr. Matt what he has won. This is so cool. And this is probably going to create some envy as well, because they are items I actually only have one of. Look at this. This is a rare octahedron of a hessonite from Tanzania. So look at that. A very cool dodecahedron. Another garnet dodecahedron. We're going to look at those in a minute. You have 2 tourmaline crystals. Then you have these 3 beauties right here. And we'll look a little better at those. And then look at this. Here is a spine crystal from, look at that, Madagascar. Now, let me beam in, because some of what really needs to show up is the colors. Look at that. Look at that rhodolite. Look at that. Now, that's the classic rhodolite. Beautiful color to that. You got to have some purple to have that. And that one as well, rhodolite. Now, okay, this, look at those tourmalines, some beautiful green color in those. But this garnet, not showing a lot of color, but it does look like there's going to be some deep red in it. And then we have this one right here, and you can see the dodecahedron shape and the color to it. Now, it's a little different color as well. And, you know, if you get these out and look close enough, because it's important, get your magnet, get your N52 neodymium magnet, create with a little dowel, and this was 2-part water mixed epoxy stuff that I put on it. All right, here we go. Look at this. Here is how you learn, by experiment. Now, to hessonite. Hessonite belongs to the Groschler family. Groschlers aren't a garnet with iron in it. So technically, if this is to be an actual hessonite, look at that. Boom, all the way from over there. So if this is to be a hessonite, it has to be a garnet, and look at that. No pickup at all. So that is definitely confirmed. This almandine garnet is a iron garnet, and boy, we cannot keep that off. They often are opaque, especially like if you find them in the mountains and with mica schist. But look at that, extremely magnetic and a lot of iron content in there. Now, rhodolite garnet, we know, is part almandine and part pyrope. Pyrope is a magnesium garnet, which is diamagnetic, not magnetic. But the iron in usually about a 30% content of almandine should be enough iron to have somewhat of a magnetic response. Boy, you can tell that full almandine really is attracted to it. And look at that. So, yes, there is an attraction, but not enough to pick it up. So it looks like that's probably just about right, with the 30% of the rhodolite being almandine for the magnetic response we get there. Now on this one, same, look at that, same. See how similar those two reactions are relative to this, this one? When you look at them enough, so you're going to know that that is full almandine garnet, nothing else mixing. Those, it's obvious that there is some almandine, but mostly pyrope. And then we have this. Let's see what this one does. Okay, so this one we have a pickup response and a fairly strong one. So that one mostly almandine, tourmalines nothing, sphene nothing, as expected. This is a great set to keep for educational purposes and comparative purposes. Congratulations there, Matt in Texas, and let's get ready for a great show. I'll be right back. Here it is, the one and only, the famous stone. And let me just show, Dave, pull up for a minute so they can see the parcel. I am going to offer the parcel that it came out of. This was the parcel it was in that I had been offering. And Latif just said to me, he goes, haven't you offered that parcel before? I said, yes. I said, I have offered it at different times for, I think, over a year. I can actually check when it was first entered in. So using a magnet, and listen, this didn't just happen to me, even though it was really exciting to catch it, but everybody has an opportunity to find that needle in a haystack, but the needle turns out to be, gold or something more than that, by using a magnet. And gemologists are not taught anything to do with magnetism as a use of gem identification or even confirmation. I am a big proponent of it and have, in this case alone, the difference it made. Now, anybody, all of you, had an opportunity of buying this parcel, and it was so cheap. The average stone, I think, was going to be $1.25 each. So it just should have been bought, irregardless of, even if there wasn't one of those stones. It was such an inexpensive parcel. That's where you take a gamble. And just because it's coming from me doesn't mean that there isn't an opportunity to find something amazing. I have told you so many times when I've offered these different parcels up that I haven't gone through it. I haven't high graded it. I haven't. I don't have the time. You see how much items I have. I can't. I just don't do that. And so I give everyone a chance to find something cool. And this one, everybody had a chance. And until I took a better look. And this time it was my turn to find something neat. Let me show you. This is what we found. Playchroic Pakistani oxenite. It is from the Nashirani quartz mine, where most of the really nice axonites now come from. Okay, look at this beginning color. I'm going to go through a few minute informational and educational explanation of exactly what makes axonite so special, and then what makes this one so special. Take note of all the colors. All right. Now, as you see from above, I see everything from a plum color to an orangish color. Now, that's a beautiful color in itself. So when this turned on its side in the parcel and I started looking at it a little better, it didn't take much before I picked it up, and all of a sudden, look what happens. The entire top is yellow. The bottom is purplish color. Let me repeat that, because I had never seen, of course, anything like that in garnet. Garnet doesn't have a stone in the family that will change color with the direction of the crystal. So we're going to move this around, and actually let me use something here and that may help us be able to look at this a little better. And let me back it with white Here we go, Dave. Okay, so look at that. And we looked at that inclusion last week, remember? Well, we're going to look at it again. Okay, great. Okay, all of a sudden, that purplish, reddish garnet was yellowish brown. And as we turn it, you can see what looks like, a big chip. Of course, isn't. It's just a inclusion that the angles of the inclusion, okay, think about this. When you're talking about a stone that's plechoic, meaning the colors are different through the various angles that it is viewed from. So all the different angles in a faceted stone, you can already see from the top yellowish color to the bottom orangish pink. Look in the corner. Those inclusions, which weren't visible from above, but from this angle, the inclusions, of course, are going to be at different angles than the stone. They are going to reflect different colors. Look at when I turn this. Look at how that color changes. That is phenomenal. You have a yellow crown. Yellow. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. All right. Yellow garnets? No. But axonite? Yes. Of course, there are such things as the yellow garnets, the molly garnets, the mixes of garnets, but not this color. So when I did that and saw it in the parcel, I knew there was something special, and that's what Elisa said she knew. And then as I continued to turn this, and this is just from the side, you can see, boy, what a difference. Look at that. And then back to here, it is now yellow on the bottom. And that purplish, pinkish, orange color on the top. Look at that. Don't ask me how it did that. But that that's what these amazing things do. And we turn it more, and that's just it. If I vary the angle a little bit, it can be all yellow. Look at that. That is neat. How it reverses. Now the yellow crown. Look at that. Latif, isn't that neat? Yeah, he said that's crazy. It is crazy. Not many people get. This is actually listed and considered a very rare gemstone. And it is also almost always found with inclusions. So it's kind of like an emerald. It's expected to be. Wow. Look at how that reverses itself. I bet you don't have another one in the in your showcase that does that. I haven't owned this one very long to sell it. Just discovered it the other week. Wow. Okay, I'm going to set it down here, Dave, just for a moment. And then let's do this. Let's look at it this way now so we get to see some other colors, because it will have a different, let me do this. Let me use this. And look at it a little closer. So look at it from the top, because we're going to have our axonite lesson in just a moment. All right, so you see oranges, reds, brown, purple. Look at that. That is a stone like no other. And let me take this here, Dave, and then come away from it here for a moment, and then look at it like this. This is something that the geology gods were having fun with that day. Okay, axonite. It gets its name. I remember the crystals. I sold beautiful crystal clusters of axonite. Easily understanding getting its name because the crystals are so shaped like an axe head. In other words, extremely narrow and sharply terminated. They show, the ones I even sold, the specimens, I showed pleicroism, but not like this. This faceted gem, I have to admit, I have never seen one cut. Now, it has to do with orientation. It has to do with the cutter. I noticed that someone bought that sapphire that I used as an educational stone with the little bit of blue in the culet at the very bottom that made the entire stone one of the most expensive blues in sapphire. Someone got that. That was very wise. And, I'm happy with regret, because that was such an educational piece. All the sapphires I've seen, all the sapphires I've bought and sold, everything I've seen, that is the only one I ever came across that it was left that way. That it was not mounted up and bezel set to be ripping off someone or anything. And I was able to showcase it many, many times. And maybe it was meant to be for me, to educate everyone as to what a little bit of blue can do to an entire stone. And if you bezel set it, you can hide it. It's buyer beware. Would have been a great class for a lot of jewelers to have taken, to understand just to what levels and how important orientation of color and things such as pleicroism in a gemstone is. This was oriented and cut by someone experienced with axonite. They were able to cut it on all the right angles and in a manner that shows off its extremely unique properties. So again, let me show it from this angle and then straight down, and then look at that. And as I turn it, you can see the colors change and rotate around it. Wow. Wow. Okay, so I'm going to set that down right here. And now let's talk about axonite. Okay, so there's three types of axonite. There's axonite Fe, which is what is known as ferroaxonite.
Dominant?
Yep, iron dominant. And so ferroaxonite is what brings the brown color into an axonite, is the presence of iron. Okay, now this stone, let me get my magnet. Okay, if it is a ferroaxonite with iron in it, remember we already did the test. It did not respond, as you can see, nothing to an N52 magnet. Yet it's showing a brown color that, if you read as much about axonite as I did, and over time, because of course I'm faceting those amazing stones, so I personally needed to know how to orient them and cut them and work with them. And that first stone was striking. Very lucky that you bought it. The next type of so it did not react to iron, but if I'm calling it a ferroaxonite, then what else is unusual about it? Well, it is also yellow. You saw the yellow? Yellow is actually rare to have in a plechoic stone, and yellow only is present if manganese is present. So the second type of axonite, and this is the way they do it, they write axonite-Mn. So it is Mn2 plus, and that is giving you your yellow. Now, the third and rarest type of axonite is axonite-Mg, or magnesiaxonite. Magnesiaxonite. Magnesium is very diamagnetic. In other words, non-magnetic. And it also is basically quenches magnetic attraction. So, yeah, that's a great question. Axonite actually belongs to its own group. But whereas the formula stays the same, but these additional elements added to the end are only in less than 0.5% by way of weight. So they are still not part of the chemical makeup. But because it is an allochromatic gem, it only takes and some of these elements are such strong coloring agents, it only takes a very minute amount of impurities. See, I wish everyone was in front of me to ask me questions like that, and so much could be answered because that's a great question. That is a great question. In the garnet family, the name of the garnets actually changed because the percentages, let's see, almandine garnet is an iron garnet. Well, it's an iron aluminum silicate oxygen. The aluminum silicate oxygen stays the same. The first element changes. So when you go to a pyrope garnet, which is a magnesium garnet, aluminum silicate and oxygen stays the same. Magnesium totally replaces it. So it's all magnesium. And so on. But that's why they get different names. But with axonite, the formula stays the same throughout, but it is the very small amount of impurities that creates these interactions, and it's not enough to change the chemical formula of it. So it's an allochromatic gem dependent on the impurities to do everything it's doing. Now, here is the other thing that is able to be deduced in this stone. It has no fluorescence. Already from last week we talked about, and the trivia question was, what elements quench or basically negate fluorescence? Iron. Iron does, and vanadium. Vanadium also in a great way quenches fluorescence. That's why you can have some emeralds that fluoresce if they get their color from chromium, but there are also emeralds that derive their color from vanadium and they won't fluoresce, and a lot of people get confused and think that one's going to be synthetic or not, but no, it is the difference in the coloring. And how do you separate them? A magnet. You can float on water like I did last week and show you how to completely reduce the drag and do a water drag test. And chromium is slightly magnetic, so a emerald colored by chromium can be dragged. If it is colored by vanadium, it won't be. Yet it won't fluoresce, but the one with the chromium will. And throw in something else interesting. if there's a really strong drag response and that little thing just goes scooting across the water, floating it on the top of a gem tube, well, it's going to be most likely a synthetic emerald, a Kimberly process emerald, a whatever kind of fake emerald, because what they tend to do is they put too much chromium in them. They're colored by chromium. And so it has a much stronger magnetic pull than a regular natural emerald would. So this is why it is actually important at the rock family's level that I'm talking to right now, that you understand the basics. You don't have to understand the isotopes, get into some of that. Of course, the radioactive stuff you might, but some of the basics, and that becomes important. So now, without fluorescence, it shows brown colors, no fluorescence, has yellow in it, and non-magnetic. Put all that together, and what you have is an axonite that it was homogeneous. In other words, when it formed, all those elements were present. There is going to be iron in it. There is going to be manganese in it, and magnesium. It is completely possible, but it is a rare stone that has all three elements. And the reactions that we got on this prove that it does have the three. Now I can get into the valences and the Mn2 plus and the activators for fluorescence and whatnot. There's a lot more I want to show you, but this is where you can go to Caltech or the Berkeley lab and find out a little bit more, which I always encourage, because I only know so much, and I try to teach it to you in a way that's easiest to understand without too much confusion. And so I water dragged this stone. So in other words, I put it on in a gem tube top, like I showed you the other week, and I floated it in one of these, and I even showed Raven at home on the water. And because it didn't move anywhere here, because you have the friction of the plastic keeping it from showing any response. But when you float it on water, there is no drag, and I got a really, really, really light drag response, confirming the iron 100%. So it is absolutely a axonite-Fe. It would be the official designation. But it also contains, because it can only be yellow, in that yellow range like that, if it has manganese in combination with the iron, and it can only then be non-magnetic to the extent that it is. In other words, very much less than it should be, because of the magnesium content and also the unusual other colors that this represents. So this is a real rarity in the axonite world. And the unusualness of it is obviously very evident in the way I showed you with the alternating colors. A wonderful, wonderful collector's gem, and a real jewel. So I am offering this at, of course, a price I have really no idea what I should ask for it. I know that these are all over the board by way of what they ask for them, and certainly, you know, everywhere I read, it just really stated how rare it was. Technically, it's a borosilicate like tourmaline. It has calcium, iron, aluminum, boron, silicon, and oxygen in its makeup. Hardness of 6.5 to 7, triclinic crystal system. It was named in 1797, one of my most famous and favorite gemologists, basically, or mineralogists, Awi, as in Aween, named it from the Greek word axina for the axe habit of the crystal, which we know, if you remember, just how sharp of an edge it is. This one would be technically considered axonite-Fe/Mg/Mn2+. The official designation of this gem. And a carat 65, quite the jewel, especially for only $165. Yep, $165. Okay, so I recommend reading as much as you can about axonite and how what causes those the color changes. It's absolutely fascinating. I love that stuff. Okay, let's get hustling here. We got lots to do. Item number let's show the garnet parcel. 1177324. Now, I would have saved this for you, Matt, except after I read your comment, you said that you wanted the axonite mostly instead of the garnet parcel. So, if you want to snag the garnet parcel as it is, then yeah, that'd be, you're welcome to do so. If not, this is also available to everybody else, as it has been for a long period of time. So let's see, let me get the number right here, 324, yeah, all right. Okay. Take this out, put this in, all right. Now, here we go. Look at this. All right, so I already showed this parcel last week, so if you want a really up close and personal, I took them all out, and that's how I discovered what it did. But here, let me do this for you and point. All right, you can obviously tell. Look at the color difference in that. Look how red that is. All of these had a magnetic response, so they all had some type of iron or chromium, iron in their makeup as an impurity, since iron would only be in the actual idiochromatic part in something as far as the garnet family goes as andradite, or almandine. Other than that, any iron in the others would be as a allochromatic outside impurity. Okay, here we have, look at these matched rhodolites. Those are beautiful with that beautiful purple color. That is what they are supposed to look like. Then you have, look at that. That is a big almandine. That deep red one, I think that is approaching pyrope, which is really special, with some almandine in it as well. Then there is this stone and this stone are both spessartines. Yes. Now, spessartine garnets will be drawn to a magnet because manganese, Mn2+, is very magnetic. So that's why you may see that in those two. Any others would be almandine. So we got almandine covered and rhodolite and spessartine. Yep, all of that. Now, remember, the garnet family is all mixed together. So there's a good chance, seeing the red in here, that's high in pyrope, and that one as well. All right, here is the deal, because the price, I took the one out, and the cost average. So anyway, I don't even know what they were. I think I recreated the parcel, so that's the right number, isn't it? Let's see, 5 and 10 stones. Thank you. I thought I gave it a new item number. My bad. Thanks for fixing that. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to make it a super good deal for anybody that wants that, and a super good deal would be $32. That's crazy, and I only am making it that low because with that other garnet, it was not expensive, and I kind of regret it because those garnets, that quality, that kind of parcel, I only put it together because it's really nice, and it is with the spessartines in there. Am I crazy? Yeah. Okay, let's look at item 117, 7724 maybe, if that's what I can read correctly. And here is something really neat. I've had these, of course, being my birthstone. I'm going to have stuff that is garnet, right? Look at this. Look at what I have for you. Right there. That is such a special stone. And look at Shawn's rare crystal. Jackson County. So there's two. Oh, here. Let me give the other one. I'm confusing everyone. Look, there's two stones. Okay, look at this other one. All right, look at this. Now, this has been tumbled polished at some point. Now, here is the North Carolina rhodolite. Now, you can look at that incredible purple color in the rhodolite, but it's not just rhodolite. It's so amazing. If you actually go to the Mindat site that I talk about, mindat.org, which is the Rockhound's paradise for information on things, and if you look up the Sugarloaf mine in Jackson County, okay, and all right, you will find specimens that are pictured that could have been this exact stone, this exact piece. Thank you. The rhodolite garnets, and then look at this. As we come in close on this, you'll see that it's not mica. It looks like mica at first. It's not. These are more like a crystalline fibrous, you know what it is? Diopside. Yes, this is, and that's why I didn't have room. So you can see in the graphics up there, after the weight, 153 grams for the weight of the two of these, I have DIOP. I had to abbreviate. Diopside. This is, you can see how crystalline looking it is. And I didn't spray it or anything. It's just a natural color. And you can see how gemmy this actually is. And the crystalline nature to it. And again, the pictures look so much similar to it. So there's no doubt. You can see also other crystals there. Look at that gemmy rhodolite in there. And then look at that. See, look at that diopside. Beautiful. There's another chunk of rhodolite. But here's the other thing. I had to abbreviate. You see it ends in sillimanite. If you look at these white areas right here, and then especially this one over here, you see the fibrous nature of how this looks, how the crystal looks coming across there. And let me just darken that a little. And you can see that how the crystals go in that fibrous nature. Sillimanite, named after a Yale professor of chemistry and geology. And of course, sillimanite is a polymorph of kyanite and andalusite. But boom, this could have come right out of the book for an exact match for the type of specimens. Here is the other thing I want you to look close at, whoever gets it. See these little black crystals right there? Look at those really closely. I didn't figure those out yet, but they might be little black spinels. But there is gemmy, an unusual diopside on this piece, and extras like, what is that? I don't know. I just love this stuff and trying to figure it out. Okay, that's that one. Now, at the very bottom of the description, you'll see Jenner, Russian, abbreviation for Russian. So it's the Russian mining district in Jenner California. And you see up there after it says two stones and CA pyrope, that's California. Abbreviation for California pyrope. And that is what we are talking about here. No magnetic pull to it or very slight. And you can see in the corner here, if you look, and let me just light that up a little bit. We may just have to use reflected light on it to be able to see it. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there we go. You can see the orange, how it comes out right there. Boom. So this is probably orange, reddish. Yeah, there we go. You can see the colors. Oh, this is kind of much prettier this way. Thank you, sir. All right. And this is in a material that is similar to the smaragdite. They call it omphacite. The green, you can see it's quite attractive, and in some areas, look at that. You can see a kind of a chatoyant play across there. So if you look at the amphibole schedule and all, it falls actually in an area that approaches some of the nephrite families, and you could also see where that could be possible. But right there you can see how that reflective sheen tells you a whole story. So this is really cool because someone polished it enough to make it be able to be a really cool display. And as a garnet piece, here you have two garnets. One from the West Coast, one right up the road, actually not far away, in North Carolina. So really neat and fun pieces, and both of them only $58. Only $58 for both. All right, now, yep, need to move on. Okay, now, I have been doing a lot of the jewelry and all, and higher price points. So, you know, me, I'd like to keep it fair and keep it mixed up. So, do something a little different. You never know what you're going to find. Item 117, 7424. Maybe. Would that pull up something from the only place it's pretty much found in the world? I am willing to offer another piece or two of this material, which is, of course, the finest lapis there is. And this is amazing quality. It's all from the same batch that I've had over many, many years. It was one big flat I bought. And if I had been wise, which so many times I'm not, when it comes to selling this stuff, I wouldn't have sold any of it. I wouldn't have sold any of it. And I'm still only selling it based on when I had gotten this flat, 12, 15 years ago, a long time ago. And so you can obviously see that the quality of this is just really the blue. Look at that. Look at that. And there is very, very little of the white calcite material in it. And this is only on the surface. You can see right underneath. When you get this royal color blue without being full of pyrite. I don't mind a little pyrite. I actually like a little pyrite. But when you get a peak, look at that. Just pure blue. Oh, gorgeous stuff. Here we go. Here's some pyrite veins right here, only on the surface though. Look at how attractive that would make just doing nothing but sitting as a display piece on any given table. Look at the color. Look at how striking that is. Nothing else has to be done to it. It's in its own glory and its own natural way coming out of the ground, needing no improvement. Boy, a few of us can say that. I was born in this world and had glasses on my face by the age of 2. So And now, as we get this age, everything goes backwards. Now I need my teeth all over again. Can't see, you know. Well, that's okay. Because I've gotten to do what I've loved to do my entire life. All right, let me show you. Since we're in that realm, let me show you. Oh, yeah, that would help. How much on this one? I am so glad you guys remember that. Only $68. Now, let me show you one more. I have 117, 70. This is awful, Shawn. 75.24. 75.24. Part of it is, I'm going to blame it on the printer. The printer I have and the ink doesn't completely fill in the letters, so it's a little difficult to see. So, trying to find something for everybody. Here is another piece of it. And you can see the white is only a surface calcite. It'd be cool if it fluoresces, but it doesn't have the benefit of that. It would be easy to sand it off. You could even sand it off by hand with a particular grit. And I think we have some pyrite there. Again, this is, you can tell right underneath, of course, the surface, just beautiful blue color. Beautiful blue color. This would make a lot of cabs. It would make some beautiful tumbled gems if you wanted to just lightly break it up into smaller pieces. Just so much, because I'm not asking much for it at all. Price on it, only $38. $38 for world-class material like that is a great opportunity. And again, it's just one of those things that when this batch of lapis is gone, I'm still just selling it based on what I've been selling it ever since I first had the flat. I'm not going to replace it. There's no way. I would not pay what the new prices are. So, it's get it now while I have it, or there'll be something else I'll be selling, but it won't be this batch of lapis. So that's just the true story to that. Okay. I'm going to get into some really interesting things here in a moment, but we won't drive Latif crazy with the Geiger counter yet. Let's show. I have some items that I am stunned that all of you did not buy from a previous show, but I'll show those in a minute. This is what I want to show now. Item number 1177924. Now, Latif will appreciate that. Latif actually knows how to facet. Has faceted quite a number of gems and can appreciate rough because he cut from rough. Let me show you what again, I have all this stuff, all this rough, all these projects I was going to do. And then as time has gone on, I realized that, Shawn, you're one person. How are you going to do all this that you had plans for? Let me show you. This is just strictly nothing but something for a gem cutter. This, believe it or not, look at this. It actually, look at that color, was a stunning stone. I did not check this for chrome. This could be a chrome tourmaline. Then it would have to be from Africa. That's the only place they come from. But I'm just didn't actually check it for that. So can you imagine someone breaking this? Because it actually is one stone. It went together, and it was a bar cut stone, and that's the backside of it. Wow, that was a really fine gem. And here would have been the top. Now, probably a jeweler. Wow. And so you can see the bar cut across the top. Yeah. This, there wasn't any inclusion. They wouldn't have cut it to start with. So there wasn't any inclusion in it. And you can see that the break is one of two things. It is either a temperature change fracture. In other words, someone took it from room temperature and stuck it right underneath the steamer, or someone took it straight from the steamer and rinsed it off in cold water. Those two will create an instant split in things from tanzanite. Things can take temperature, but they can't take temperature change. Like tanzanite, well, you got to heat it up till pretty hot just to change the color. No problem. But if you take it and quench it or go and drop the temperature quickly on it, then it'll look like an ice cube. So look at that. You can see that is a extremely fine quality tourmaline until someone had a terrible boo-boo and paid a terrible price at some point. Beautiful preform. How about this price? You know I'm a cutter's cutter. When something price per carat to buy that kind of quality rough would be really expensive. Both pieces, the whole deal there, $21. $21. And wow, what a color. What a color. I have teal because in the light I was looking at home, there was blue in it. Now it looks almost like chrome tourmaline. If you check it with a Chelsea filter and it comes up pink, I want it back because it's African chrome tourmaline worth much more. And it's unusual for me not to have checked that, but it's because of the color that it looked like in the light I had at home. And that was an error on my part and will just benefit one of you. Okay, let me put away a couple of items and I'll be right back. Now, why? Tell me why did not anyone take advantage of this polished Brazilian elbaite tourmaline slice? You know, this is from the Petineer mine where the amazing rocket pocket crystals came from and that faceted green gem. This is the opposite. You notice instead of a watermelon tourmaline being pink in the middle, green on the outside, well, you can see the light greenish color with the white and then the pink rind. Therefore, ergo, cannot be a watermelon tourmaline, can it? These, when you go to the shows, it is amazing how expensive what they charge for this. These slices. Look at that. That actually has a little bit of a bluish color tint to it. This is a real thick one, and it is polished on both sides. They are easy to make into jewelry, but if nothing else, they are just fun to own and have in a gem tube. I mean, I don't know. That's where most of my collection was, just in gem tubes. So anyway, you know what? Since I showed it before, you know my rule. Maybe I can't do much, but I always discount a little if you want to take the gamble and no one else getting it, which is usually works against you because almost 90% of the time it is sold. So, but since how could this not have even sold at the price I had it for before? Oh my. All right. Well, then this case, let's do this then. Let's make it. I couldn't even get this wholesale at this price if I went out to Tucson, not for this weight. 3 carat for less than $10 a carat. You're talking about $28. $28. There is no way I could go out there and buy it for that. So that's the last time I'm offering at that price. After that, it is. I'm keeping it. It'd be crazy to sell this because anyway, Andrew has been wanting to do some wire work. So now here's another one. I don't know. I think y'all were falling asleep during the show. Item 117-3124. Every one of these items that I thought would have been gone, I still have. Look at this. What in the world? Look at that. Talk about a beauty. This tourmaline. Look at that color. Look at that color. Look at the cutting. Look at the cutting on that. Wow. And look at the clarity. That's a beauty. Classic pink yellow. This is the Coronel Myrta. pocket or mine that this came from. And it's known for a particular set of colors and combinations. And these two are exactly some of the colors, more prominent colors that are known to come from that mine. Look at how beautiful that is. So look how I turn it. Okay, you see the colors there, and then if you turn it to the end, look at how the entire color changes down the C-axis. Look at the polish on that, the faceting. When you look at that and see something so water clear, not only is the gem, of course, free of inclusions, but the faceting is on a high level. Yeah, someone with a lot of skill nailed that perfectly. That's a beauty. Okay, well, so where am I going to go from the already incredibly inexpensive price I put this at? This is in a retail environment at $200, some would say $300 a carat tourmaline. It probably is. These wow. Okay, here we go. I'm going to offer the discount again, even though it was really inexpensive already. So to make it anything less is kind of right. Yeah, so here we go. I'm going to make this now. I'm going to be discounting it. I'm just kind of amazed. It was only $218. Yeah. And so now, by my own silliness rules, I should make it just $217. I always say, okay, it's going to be less than. But to make that anything less than means I would not even come close to being able to replace that. I do better take it out there and sell it to them. Remember the number of years ago when the Japanese and all the Asian markets were buying up tourmalines? They ran up the price of tourmalines, and that could always happen again. I don't think it's ever really come back down ever since that happened. They went out to and were just going into vendors and buying every tourmaline they could get their hands on. Anyway, make it $198. I mean, that's $190. I don't even know what price per carat that is. Doesn't matter. $198. That is a plenty big enough discount from the way it was offered before, and that can. So anyway, of this material, only one small pocket with the pink-yellow color was found in 2005. You can see that in the graphics. The yellow, if you're into the metaphysical side, so listen to this, that being bicolor, you get the benefit of the metaphysical properties of both, which to some, they believe it aids in manifesting self-esteem, enhances self-esteem, stimulates creativity, and brings balance and positive energy. The pink side promotes sympathy, better understanding, and better listening. Represents love of humanity and humanitarianism. Shields against negative energy. So that's a fun side a lot of people look at, the metaphysical side, and if that's the case, then boy, that gem sounds like a lot of people could get a benefit from it indeed. Now, mind-blowing, but okay, 117-2... What is that number? 117-2624. Okay, so maybe everybody was busy buying the expensive rings or whatnot to pass up on this. Now, yes, granted, that amazing 22-karat green one sold, but well, passing up on that is one thing. But then passing up on this one is a whole nother situation. Let's look at it. Let's look at it closer. This, for one thing, is large. Now remember, the larger a stone is, that means the more likely usually that you're going to find inclusions in it. So when you get a large stone that is clean, just like that big green rocket pocket faceted gem, to have a big stone like that, as clean as it was extremely rare. You almost want to see inclusions, like the couple of little small ones it had, just so you know it's the real thing. Look at that. Look at that. That almost looks like an axonite. Don't get me started on that axonite stuff, because, you know how much that would be worth if that was an axonite? Holy cow. I think it would be hit a kind of probably a museum type reference, especially that clean. So it's not an axonite. Well, better not be an axonite. But, anymore, I better start. Look at that. Look at that gem. So, orangey pink, you can see those colors depending on, now remember, tourmaline is one of those that, you look at it through different angles and it will have different colors, but look at how clean that gem is. Now, as we come away a little bit with it and look at in my hand, you get a good idea of the size of it. Really, really amazing. I would have loved to have seen the crystal and what it would have looked like. Wow, you can see the pink and the yellows in that, the orangey pink color tones to it. Okay, how about a discount? That's what I say, that's what I do. You guys playing it tough on me, taking the gamble. I'll go along with it. All right, here we go. It was $318 for a 16 karat stone. So that was less than $20 a carat. Less than $20 a carat. And no one grabbed that up. Look at the different angles. Look at the pinkish orange in that. The clarity is stunning. Okay, let's do this. You took the gamble, it didn't sell, so worthy of a discount. I'm going to make it so hopefully this is it. I'm going to put a final opportunity for everybody by dropping it to $248. $248 on that. And that is what we call making money on the buy. In other words, you bought it less than the market value to start with. And it's one of those, also easy to just say, challenge everybody. Just like that other pink yellow one, go try to find one in the world that I don't know about. That's the internet. And go try to find one cheaper. And then you'll know just how inexpensive this one actually is. So, and then let me see. Oh, I'm time. Here, this is why I think all of you guys that week, maybe, I don't know what you're focused on. Item number 117, 2724. But you played it right, because every one of these items I am making less than. Now, that's not one of those things where it always keeps getting less than. It gets just less than once, maybe. And then, what do I care? What do I care? It just goes back home into one of my other collections somewhere, and who knows, maybe it won't turn back up again for a couple years. I am missing on the bedroom floor. Actually, I think it went underneath the edge of the bed because, we vacuum, but carefully. I am missing, and I know Miss Gabby can appreciate this, a horsetail Russian demantoid garnet over a carat. It was mine, and it flipped out of the tweezers and into Neverland. And so that's not the only thing. There's other stuff under the bed. There's going to be so many goodies that that will be probably one of these days. I'm going to have an under the bed sale. Everything over all these years, because I do the inventory on the bed. It's most comfortable for my back, and I get to spread and set up a table and I spread everything all around me, and then because I have the room to be able to do it and sit there comfortably. That's why there'll be lots to show you. All right, look at this. Look at this. Look at this gem. Look at how bright that is. And that would be beautiful with a tourmaline. A pair. How could none of you take advantage of, look at the cutting on these. This is some beautiful, well, if I didn't put Mandarin in there, please do, would you, sir? Because those are certainly Mandarins. That is beautiful, beautiful spessartines from the famous Tanzanian mines. And so, of course, being my birthstone, I love garnet. And offer these. Let's see. You might have the price. Of course, you'll make it higher there. Okay, tell the truth. How much? I don't see what I offered them for last time. How much did I offer them for? 48. Are you fibbing? Okay. Okay. If he was my financial manager from many years ago, I would be as wealthy as he is. He is a smart man. And has always known that I didn't ask enough, and he's very, very, very right about that. So let's make this a considerable discount. Carat 78. If they were only $20, that would be what, $36 roughly? Yeah, sure, $36. That's $20 a carat. Matched pair. Has to be worth that. Okay. This 117-1824. And then I have something really special. Take a look at what I am getting ready to show you. Here is my favorite stone. My son's birthstone, my mother's birthstone, and no two gems are alike. I've been out to Lightning Ridge, spent weeks there, down in the mines, exploring everything. Great shrimp on the barbie. Wonderful times with the people. Learned a lot. Actually ran the mining equipment, the augers. Just a great experience out at the ridge. And I can definitely tell you that opal like this is extremely rare. This is old stock, and you can see that it's gray base, but technically anymore everybody calls this black opal. A little bit of clay area there, but other than that, it is nothing but fire, and it is of every spectral color there is, and it is omnidirectional, so it's not just looking at it in one direction. And if we look at it in my hand, you can see just how fine of a gem that is. I mean, that is an opal, and it's just material that if a miner hit a piece like this anymore, he would be over the moon to find something like that. You just don't see it. Anyway, this one I will happily take back home if it doesn't sell. 2.40 carat. It was unbelievable. How could that not have sold? Yeah, no. I tell you what I'll do. I'm going to make this only. I'll do it. I'm going to make it less than 50 a carat, make it $118. $118. You know what, though? Technically, yeah, make it 115. 115. And that's going to be the least it will be offered for. For an opal like that to be less than $50 a carat, the miners in Lightning Ridge would be shaking their heads saying, we can't even start our blowers and vacuums up for that. Item number 117-2124. You got to understand that a piece like that might be the best piece they find all day long after running, $300 worth of diesel out, after, 2 men working, 30 meters underground. And, yeah. I think it looks like maybe the amazing, let me just check. Yeah. Other stone I showed to this one sold. Look at that. Oh, did I give you the item number? Oh, sorry about that. Yeah. So the one that was the bluish purple with the dragon skin pattern, but this has these large plates. Amylite, you know all about it. This one, you can see that you have the veneer of the actual aragonite that the shell was compressed and turned into that beautiful color. And then it's been backed with, like most are backed. So it's a doublet. But again, like I said, most all are doublets. That amazing dragon skin piece wasn't, but of course it was in a different league for price wise. I'm offering this one right now discounted if you want to take advantage of it for far below what you'd find it for. But let's do it anyway. Let's make it only $44. $44. Okay, let's get to something absolutely crazy. All right, when you start off and the item is in an aluminum hat, you got to wonder. Item 117-70, whatever that says, 7624. 117-7624. Okay, this can be pronounced multiple ways. It can be pronounced Taiwimunite or Julimunite or Taiwimutes. I kid you not. 3 different pronunciations, all found on the internet for what is something in aluminum foil. Aluminum foil does only a couple millimeters, all it takes. So there's 2 layers of this. Will stop and hold back alpha and most beta radiation. Yes, I am showing you something radioactive. This is an amazing piece. It is, of course, from my personal collection, and it is a old stock material from Chihuahua, Mexico. No, I know it's Chihuahua. Chihuahua, Mexico. The Santa Eulalia mine. I have sold often many other pieces from that same mine. Little did you know that it also contained something that is insane. Matt, I was thinking of you since I know you're a responsible collector. I am going to show you what this one little piece, and I have had this protected for decades because exposed to too dry of a situation and to light, it can become what is known as meta-taiumanite, which is a dehydrated version. Let me show you. Okay, so we know we have the Geiger counter, right? And I actually have to shield the Geiger counter this far away. Okay, so let's look at the Geiger counter number. Okay, All right, well, you can see we're a ways away, and it's already 326. This is not your normal. Yeah, this is screaming, folks. This is screaming. CPM you see in the data is up to 40,000 that I've gotten that. In other words, 40,000 high-speed electrons being emitted per minute. You can hear that, and so that is in thousands. So you're looking at 29,000, 30,000, and that's not. Okay, that's what I'm going to show you is, okay, if it's an alpha emitter, it only shoots for a few inches. A beta emitter will go a few feet. A gamma emitter will go through you. Now, alpha emitter, your dead skin can stop it, or a piece of paper. This is what is amazing. I didn't really realize. So let's come back away from this. So obviously we're past the alpha emitting stage. Beta emissions are the ones that you do need to be shielded from, and in time, with enough time, can burn you. This is one that so this far away to be reading that high, those are all beta particles, not alpha. The beta ones are, yeah, you hear Latif, they're smoking. Yeah, beta emissions are something you need to be careful of. This is not something I've ever showed you before where this is this far away and we're in the 400s and I'm a foot away. So those are definitely only beta and therefore need to protect. But aluminum foil is a big protector against it. Also, of course, lead is the best protector against it. Toluenite is made up of calcium. It is a what's referred to as a hardness of 1.5 to 2. It belongs to the carnotite family. It was named in 1912 for the discovery place, which was actually Toluenite Valley in Kyrgyzstan. And so you want to keep it in more of a humid place, just and out of the sunlight. So a glass showcase is fine. You just don't. I've actually had it in a dark, hidden away place for decades. I have had this specimen. It's referenced as a uranal vanadate, and because it contains uranium in its chemical makeup and vanadium. This is, for the size piece that it is, one of the highest, strongest emitters. There we go. So there were. I have it at 40,000, and that is well beyond anything. But like was it Dave that asked? The thing isn't that's as important as how far away does it still give you a reading. Dave's sitting there. Hey, I just noticed my cameraman's out of his chair. He's 8 feet away. I think I lost my cameraman. I didn't think about that side effect. Make sure you always wash your hands and everything after dealing and working with these specimens. He's measuring it. He's measuring where he's sitting from. See, it should be in only a 50 to 60 range if it's safe. If it reads beyond that, that's going to be scary. That's going to be gamma emissions. No, we're just beta. Yeah, anyway, okay. Yeah, it's still picking up a few. Yeah, beta can go several feet. So it is. So he's about 5-6 feet away, and he's still in the hundreds, which 134. Yeah. So it's actually emitting it. So we're going to cover this up, and like I said, it is for responsible collectors, which matters. Matt, it's not that expensive, really, relative to its uniqueness. And someone like you, what a great addition it would make for your collection. So this is like I said, super old stock piece. And the thing about it is, I actually was maybe stupid or smart enough. I actually got close enough with magnification to look at it with a loupe, and it is incredible, beautiful little crystals. So if you want something like that, yeah, it's not a lot of money to have something really special and to show off to your friends. I'll even I think Christy includes these information cards that I write for myself, and you can see the different spellings up here, which I thought was really, really interesting. And you can see this is truly the way Thai Weem Unite, Julie Moonite, and Thai Weemoots. Yep. All right, so take advantage of this price because it's only $58. And, you know, that's a lot of fun. But, it's also calcite underneath. I do highly recommend that you, of course, are conscious of it and careful with it as far as storing or display. And it's really, you know, the R word, like I say, everyone gets spooked about. But look what I do on the bags I put them in. So I like drawing these little symbols. It's good for also inventory people know, and I do what I can do initially to, yeah. So, you know, you ever wondered when you see people wearing aluminum on their heads, you never knew there was another actual better reason, and that is to stop beta emissions from entering your brain. Okay, stop laughing, Shawn. Okay, next one. Yep, we're going to have time because I'm going to get these in because you or whoever, Matt, whoever, you are sharing in one of my most prized special collections that no one has ever seen. And wow, I'm doing it. 938720. 938720. How about this? Now, Matt, if you want to, or anyone else, create and start a collection, here you go. These are some fantastic ones. I'm saving the best for last, so wait till you see it. Okay, yellow or any greenish yellow, that is always a sign. Do you need the information? That, you know, if you already think something is radioactive, then when you see that, it often is a confirmation because a lot of radioactive minerals are that color. So again, see, Dave can feel safe because I have this now a foot away from it and it's not reading anything. So this is a mineral called Shrokingerite. I love the name of it. And, great. You can see Latif is putting up the chemical formula for it now. So it's a sodium, calcium, it looks like a uranol fluorocarbonate. All right, now let's check this out. As we bring this in closer, I think I have it notated on there that the CPM, the count per minute, is around 1,000. So right there, it hit 1,000. And yeah, well, and 1,200, 2,000, no. Here's the other thing. Yes, this one is fluorescent, which a lot of them are fluorescent, but sometimes, many times, like as in that thioumenite, it is not fluorescent. So that's kind of interesting. So anyway, this reads out at about 1,000. Now, or 1,200. That's not something that you want to hang around your neck, but it's also, as you can see, it is primarily an alpha emitter. So in other words, that plastic box is stopping, actually it is. The plastic box is stopping the alpha emissions. So there's 3 types, and that's the important thing you have to know, and that's why it all can sound really bad when it's really not. You have alpha, beta, and gamma. Gamma is the bad one. The gamma is the one that will just goes through everything, and the only thing that stops gamma is a thick thing of lead, water, or concrete. Other than that, gamma goes through the human body like a freight train. Now, saving the best for last. And I mean it. I was never going to sell this, but Matt, if you want a shot, since I actually have a collector, I said, you know, I have something to collect, I should offer. Price on this, on the Shrokingerite? Yeah, I have, this is a really awesome opportunity. Yeah, $28. $28. So yeah, that's a neat piece to add for only that much money, especially the name, Sharkingorite. All right, this one, I didn't think I was ever going to offer it, but since Matt, and it's only because of you, Matt, that and your what you told me that you had set up and being responsible, that I would consider selling this next one. Item 1177824. I'm getting ready to show you one of my most prized and rarest radioactive specimens, and it is a full of crystals. And Dave is going to take you on a tour through this piece that is amazing. Okay, the black, starting off with the black. The black is agarine. You've heard of agarine. It's been and made up in a lot of other different minerals with charoite and many others. So the black, beautiful black crystals. Okay, now, the zircons. The zircons are everywhere. Here's one right here. How you spot the zircons, they're 4 sides and they have a pointed like pyramidal termination on one end. There is a beauty right there. Now, the zircons are all over. All of these tan items, and I'm going to take you in closer. Now, also, the transparent yellow ones you're going to see are zircons also. Then you have albite. You have a feldspar on here, and that is going to be, look at these beautiful shaped zircons. Look at that one. Can you go in closer, Dave? Beautiful. Okay, very well shaped. Mixed in, you have these really fine yellow zircons as you get to looking at it closer, as we shall do. The thing I haven't said and talked about is the best thing, parasite. Parasite, that is the radioactive mineral on here, and it is all of these brownish crystallized crystals that you see. They can be have linear or going around it. So there's a parasite crystal right there where you see the lines going this way. Here is a parasite crystal where the lines are linear. Now, look at how beautiful, like right here. This is an agarine, and this is a stunning zircon crystal right on top of it. I have to show you this. Let's do our magic here, Dave, and come in close on some of these things and give everyone a treat, because now you're going to get to see the facet grade, small but facet grade. Okay, look at that. Look at that zircon termination right there. All the yellow are zircon as well. Now, right there in the middle, those are parasites. The black is agarine. Let's keep looking. You'll see zircons on top of other. Look at that. That's a big, beautiful termination of a zircon right there. Another one right next to it. Let's spin this around and wow. Look at that. Now let me see if I can add some other light. There we go. And let me get a fourth hand in here. Right. Look at that. Look at that. That is a perfect zircon crystal growing right out of that agarine. It doesn't get any better than that. Then, here's, it looks like the albite, some of the white albite or feldspar growing right there. And as we come down here, look at, again, those perfect terminations of zircon. Now remember, that's why zircon is radioactive. It hangs out with radioactive elements. Look at that. Look at all those little crystals of zircon. Oh, here's because you're going to see a lot of these. This is just the one I can spot for you. Right there. That is a transparent yellow zircon crystal growing on the agarine. Look at these other doubly terminated zircons. Oh, wow, look at that. This is from a very unusual locality to Malawi in Africa. And so let me show you some parasites. Here we go. So everything that isn't what I showed you is parasite. Here we go, right there. There's a big one right there. Here, all of this is a parasite crystal. And, oh, I want to show you. That's the other thing. See the green? When I backlight the agarine, many of them are a beautiful, deep, deep green. You can see the green colors in that right there. Now let's turn this over. Oh, this is what I want to show you. I just didn't know where they were. Look at all these beautiful, beautiful yellow zircon crystals. And they are very, look at all these on there. Very translucent to transparent. Look at all these zircons growing on the agarines, growing all over. Look at that. That's a beautiful nest of zircons. And this was, I had bought a flat of these, and this is, I think, I'm down to like, the last one, you know why? Because it was so radioactive. I did it, I haven't sold it, didn't offer it. And because I didn't have anyone that really wanted to collect them, but only since you. So this, I say, basically the best for last, because I wasn't going to get into selling the R word if no one wanted it. But since Matt, and no obligation, I enjoy just showing this piece off. It is stunning, and it is so fun to look at because of everything going on. All those crystals and the different ways they are growing on top of each other. And then, so let me show you. Let's point out. Let's see, where's my pointer? So, there I am. All right, so like right back here, these tannish type crystals that you see are the parasite. Let me talk to you about parasite for a minute. Let me show, you can look at this in general for a moment. Parasite. Parasite was named, believe it or not, after the general manager of the Muzo mine. Parasite is made up of calcium, cerium. Oh, Dave, that is perfect. Wow. Look at that. That shows everything. Plus, you can see the size easily from my hands. Look at that. Well, that's what I needed right there. It is cerium, lanthanum. Look at that. Look at that. Look at the sprays. Let me see. So let me make sure that you can spot the parasites. Okay, so it was only first discovered in that mine. And so it was named after the general manager of it. And that was in about 100 years ago. Look at all these. So all these beautiful yellow crystals are zircons, plus all these other very well-defined and terminated crystals as well. This is an amazing piece. Here we go, so you easily can spot parasite. There's a perfect parasite crystal right there. There's another one behind it. There's one down there. There's mixed in there. Let's take a reading. Yep, my time's about up. This is the last item of the show. So Dave, let's show what we have here on the Geiger counter to start with. We have so we have 123. We're about 6 inches away from it. Let's go ahead and move it up and see what we get. Let's see what we get here. All right, we're over 1,000, 1,300, and certain sites, depending on where the parasite is, parasite, it sounds like a bug, can make a difference if you have more crystals on one side. There we go. There, we're up probably to where I got. There we go. We hit the 2,000 range. There we go. So I'm going to show you where that angle is, which will tell you also where the largest parasites are. It sounds like I'm talking about a bot fly or something. All right, so it was right here on this side. Dave, if we could just go in real quick so I can see what was caused that. Yeah, so here's why. You see all those big, large tan crystals, very few black agarine. So it is this side that if you want to focus on the highest reading. The side with the black crystals, nope. Well, of course, it's still radioactive, but that is going to be the power side. My time is up. This is an amazing piece. I love educating and I love talking about this because you know what? I wanted to get into talking about carbon-14 and a sheet about radioactivity, and but I'll read that in the closing. So for the moment, I will be back. The price on this guy, though, is an excellent opportunity if you are a collector of the unique. Only $188. $188. And in a moment, I'll be back with trivia, and I want to read one more little paragraph and interesting information about radioactive minerals. All right, see you back in a minute. Now, if you thought you hadn't seen anything ugly in a while, well, maybe this will do it for you. So this is the wolf spider I talked about. And believe it or not, it is a bright sterling silver after it is cleaned up. You have no idea what we go through when we cast something and what it looks like versus what it looks like after it's finished. Now, so this was actual live spider. It was dead. I'd found it, and even using hairspray to harden, these are some of my secret tricks I shouldn't be telling, but to harden up the body so that I could attach what's called a sprue, which is a wire. All this would be wax, a wax wire to the end of each one of its legs. Now, even with the process of pouring what's called a plaster of Paris type of, it's called investment mixture around it. The spider would sit, this would all be a wax base in a flask. Then the plaster of Paris type mixture called investment is poured into the flask around it, okay? So you have your spider in there. Then this is put in the oven. Now this could be anything organic. It could be a leaf. It could be a stick. It could be anything carbon-based that could be burnt out. So you have it in a flask with this plaster of Paris type investment that hardens up, right? So then you take your flask and you put it in the kiln and you completely burn it out up to like 1,300 degrees, and it leaves no traces whatsoever. It completely burns away the whatever it is. All right, then what you're left with is the negative cavity of where it was. You sling in a centrifugal casting machine is one method. Molten metal, in this case it was silver, into that cavity, because it's no longer wax and a spider, it's been burned away. So you have that empty cavity in there. You sling that molten metal in there, and that's why if you do not do it like this is actually a good for an educational piece, and probably why I never cleaned it up, even though Raven wants me to really badly, because of course she's that kind of gal. So if I would not have connected each one of these, there's no way the silver would have gone backwards into the legs. Now, it needs to be cleaned up. It's amazing how the kind of cleanup, the difference it would make. You can see the front on a wolf spider, if you ever see it, the front other little, whatever they're called, they teeth, jaws, whatever, help eat stuff. But then the abdomen, and so the legs can all be straightened back out after it. The most important thing is that they were all cast complete. And the other thing that I've done for people is cast things like this, and then I tumble finish them so it bright polishes them, and they just want it like that. They just want it left on the sprue for the base, and I could cut off these wires, and then it just has the center post. So you have like the piece. I did scorpions that way, an 18 karat for a guy that, of course, had a lot of money. But that was really cool. And I took actual scorpions that at the time my house was unfortunate, had a few. And so that's how you can create natural, organic items from nature itself. All right, come to me for a minute and let's talk about radioactive minerals. Okay, so there's a paragraph I just want, a notation I want to read. I think this is important to everyone to help you understand. You hear about dating, you hear about Earth, you're hearing about so many things you didn't used to hear about. With the, of course, the calamity of the heating of the Earth and whatnot, these things have become a lot more important than what they were before. Carbon-14 dating. You've always heard about that, and you always wondered how it works. Well, let me just read something to you. Naturally radioactive minerals are not very radioactive. This is because they are formed from naturally occurring radioactive isotopes, which, by necessity, have extremely long lifetimes, comparable or greater than the age of the Earth itself. The radioactivity of an isotope is strongly dependent upon its half-life. Tritium, hydrogen-3, has a half-life of only 11.2 years, meaning that half of it decays every 11 years. So if you have something that's 100% tritium, in 11 years, it's only going to be 50% tritium. 11 years after that, again, it halves every time, 25%. 11 years after, 12.5%. Okay? Think about the geology and how old the Earth is. So listen to this. It is highly radioactive, but not nearly as radioactive as some isotopes used in medicine. And this is where it becomes important, and to your life or your mother's life or your son's or your friends. This is how many cancers are killed and cured. So listen to this. Not nearly as some isotopes used in medicine, such as technetium-99, with a half-life of only 6 hours. So it has to be used within 6 hours, or half of its potency is decayed. A unit of technetium-99 emits 16,000 times as much radiation per second than does tritium, which in turn is 7 million times as radioactive as plutonium. It is hard to wrap your head, or it should be, around those numbers. Technetium-99, 16,000 times as much radiation per second than does tritium, which in turn is 7 million times as radioactive as plutonium. There are no plutonium minerals. And this is where this will help you understand a lot. Consider plutonium-244, the most stable isotope of plutonium. And you've heard of plutonium. It's enriched, it's used in, of course, the atomic bombs. It has a half-life of 82 million years, and consequently is not very radioactive. Yet in the 4.5 billion year existence of the Earth, the total number of remaining atoms dropped in half 550 times. There simply is none left to form minerals. 82 million years sounds like a long time, but when you divide that into 4.5 billion years, the age of the Earth. Remember, I had told you weeks, months before, yes, this is part of science class, that the Earth was formed by the continual buildup of collision of asteroid, meteor, asteroid, building up from impacts till it got big enough. It started developing a gravity. It had a central core generated by the heat and the pressure from the out. And then it developed a spin, which makes it round, and on and on. Every bit of gold, precious metal, etc., that is on this Earth has been imported from space, from another asteroid, another impact, another meteor. It's not formed here in the Earth, it's not formed in the core. No, brought in by space. Hence, you're going to hear, if not in this lifetime, future lifetimes, space mining. Yep. Yeah, because there is gold and stuff out there. But I think we need to move a little faster than using rocket fuel. Yeah, no. We need to find another way for space travel. So there's simply none left to form minerals. There are 4 main radioactive isotopes that have lasted as long as the Earth. Uranium-239, over 99% of all uranium, with a half-life of 4.5 billion years. So, of course, it's here. Uranium-235, less than 1% of all uranium, because it has a half-life of 700 million years. So, yeah, it's been depleted. Thorium-232, which is 100% of thorium with a half-life of 14 billion years. So, longer and older than the Earth. So, yeah, there's 100% of the thorium here that's ever been here. Here's the important one. Potassium-40, which is 0.01% of all potassium. Remember, I talk about potassium-40 is the element that, and why our fossils, most of our fossils are have a radioactive signature. With a half-life of 1.28 billion years, since there is so little of this isotope compared to stable potassium-39 and 41, potassium minerals are not considered radioactive, although they all are to a tiny degree. And that's why you hear about your bananas being radioactive or your Brazil nuts being radioactive. It all has to do with that microscopic amount. And I tested all those with my Geiger counter and never got a reading outside of the norm on any of that stuff. So that means that essentially all radioactive minerals contain either uranium or thorium. The rare earth elements, REEs, typically include a percentage of uranium and or thorium as trace elements, rendering many of them slightly radioactive. Note that both uranium and thorium have decay chains involving many short-lived isotopes. They consequently emit much more radiation than a simple isotope such as tritium. But these are present in tiny traces and typically don't exist long enough to become concentrated and form minerals. There is some in the chain of where uranium-238 eventually turns into stable lead. That some of the half-lives of some of the isotopes it goes through in its decay process that may last only seconds or hours. There are relatively common radioactive nuclides. Radium-226, and here, this last paragraph is all I'm going to read to you, but it's real important. Radium-226 and radon-222 are both produced during the decay of uranium. Radon is considered the most hazardous because as a gas, we breathe it into our lungs where it can attach until it decays. Luckily, radon only has a 4-day half-life, which limits the buildup in a basement or from a concrete wall. Unluckily, Radon only has a 4-day half-life, which means it is extremely radioactive. So the shorter the half-life, the more radioactive. So if you have radon and it's a 4-day half-life, you could go away on a month trip and you would pass through 7 half-lives, greatly reducing the amount of percent of radon in a basement environment. Really important in places like Georgia. We have red clay. When you have red clay, you have feldspar, you have granite deposits, you're going to have a potential radon gas problem. One last note. Another well-known radioactive isotope is carbon-14. This will help you understand so much more when you hear that. So listen to this. Produced as a measurable trace by cosmic rays acting on atmospheric carbon dioxide. And with a half-life of, they know this exactly, 5,732 years. Since it is carbon, it is readily incorporated into all living things. Indeed, our bodies are naturally radioactive to a degree from all these sources. Potassium-40 contributes the most, then carbon-14, then uranium and its decay products. So you hear about, that's how you're able, and how the paleontologists, more like the anthropologists, are able to date things that are organic, because everything has some amount of carbon-14. Old bones, when they are digging down to the levels in the cave, any old pieces of wood that they had burned in the fire, any old bones from any animals, any skeletal formations, all of those things contain carbon-14. Now, here's the rub on that. 5,732 years. That is its half-life. So that's as only the amount of time that can be determined within that 5,732 years using carbon-14. It is very accurate within that time frame. But once it goes out and is into the 10,000 years, 100,000 years, whatnot, can't use carbon-14. Its half-life has been used up. So therefore, they have to use other isotopes that have particular half-lives that can be measured within a reasonable time frame, and depending on how old they think the strata or what they're working with is. So they have other options, and it all has to do with radioactivity. Radioactive is not a bad word. It's a very useful word, and it's a word that extended my mother's life and many other of all of your friends and loved ones' life. It's a powerful, don't want to call it drug or chemical, but it's a powerful element in the end in the battle against cancers. So radioactivity, of course, in the scope of war is a horrendous and horrible potential consequence. But radioactivity, when it comes to medicine and healing, is an absolute necessity, and so is further study in that realm. Everything from cobalt-60. I could go on and on with talking about that, because it's something I've known but never been able to share with y'all. So I'm doing it through the use of these mineral specimens. And overall, of course, I wouldn't bring you anything that wasn't safe. And especially since I think Matt's the collector and reasonable and responsible in that respect. But I welcome any and all of you, if you want to venture into something. I will say that anyone that builds a penny-sized collection, a Geiger counter is a must, because that's how you can really tell just how safe you are being. So, and if you have to wear that aluminum hat. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the show. and got some additional knowledge that you may not hear too many other places, but you also got to see another part of my collection that I haven't been able to show you, but that has a lot of positive information when discussed and properly presented. Then the R word isn't such a terrible thing as it's so often made out to be. So yeah, there is much more we could talk about, but we'll cover that in time. I'm just looking to make sure a couple of interesting things. Alpha particles, when they are ejected from the atom, travel at 12,400 miles per hour. They actually know how fast, which is slow. A beta particle can will travel a lot further, and here is something that I think is one of the most interesting things related to rocks and minerals and radioactivity. The most radioactive body of rock that there is on this planet is granite. Granite. So next time anyone's climbing Stone Mountain out here, think about it twice. Now, as a whole, and it's funny because I have checked with my Geiger counter at granite, and here's the thing. I'll get just exactly what it says. Granite is made up of course, a composition of a lot of different minerals at different times, and different parts of it can be made up slightly different. What it does contain, though, because it's brought up from deep within the earth and from magma concentrations. Remember, again, Stone Mountain, which is close to us, and I know most everybody in the country knows about it, is a huge mountain of intrusion of magma that formed granite. And that's why all the surrounding earth is eroded away from it, and it's still there. But since it was brought up from deep into the earth, it is full of REEs, rare earth elements, and all kinds of other minerals, tourmalines. You can walk on Stone Mountain, and I can see tourmaline and garnets all over. You just can't go digging them out. So granite contains a large concentration of all those, but it is spread out through it altogether. But it is, if someone was to ask what type of rock contains the most REEs, the answer is granite. So just another interesting tidbit next time you're around a bunch of granite, and then you'll be thinking about that, won't you? So anyway, there's a lot of neat things about that. We'll get into it in the future. I have a couple of trivia questions for you. They're going to be easy ones, right? Okay, let's get to them. Name the 3 types of axonite discussed. Okay, so all I'm looking for is, in the best way you can, because I gave it to you in 2 different ways. I gave it to you in the full chemical, the full elemental version, which makes it a lot longer and maybe a little bit harder. So that would be really good if you knew that part. And I also gave you the version where it was axonite dash another element. If that's the part you know, then fine. But if you know the what would I say? I guess almost really what would be the Latin version? What would be the chemically spoken version of the mineral? Then that would be cool too. I'm trying to think of another mineral that would give you the idea of what it is, but I don't want to give away the answer. Okay, question number 2. Name the 3 main types of radioactivity discussed. And I say 3, and I say discussed because, there are some others, but they're not anything you ever need or will come across. So we discussed 3 main types of radioactivity. Name them. Okay, so I had a lot of fun. We're going to keep having fun. If you can keep supporting the show, buying the items as you see possible. But to get back a basket of tourmalines, and I didn't even get to all the Koroi opals you guys turned down at a huge discount. So I'll be offering those coming up, discounted, I guess, or maybe I'll just keep them. But anyway, keep supporting the show. Happy Mother's Day to all of you mothers. I know this show, you're going to see it the Monday before the Sunday, and I'll be seeing you the Monday after Mother's Day also, so I'll give you a well wish then as well. So, my mom passed away 30 plus years ago, miss her dearly, but I certainly will accept all of you as my surrogate family and mothers, and so you moms feel proud of all the wonderful job that you do raising us difficult children. One of 6 siblings, I know that my mom was certainly everything to the stability of the house and to making me turn out to be the guy I am. I love all you moms. I love all of you friends and family, and I can never let you feel as much love and gratuity that I feel for keeping me here for the 7 years that I've been here. Let's keep going. Thank you so much, and see you next Monday. Cheers.